Skip it up and that up. In case you haven't noticed, the internet is full of lists, especially YouTube. There's tons of like top 10 videos and so on and so forth. And there seems to be a lot of lists of people defending their favorite platform, whether it be portable gaming or console gaming or PC gaming. And generally, I ignore those lists because sometimes they're either just ridiculous or they're things that people already know. Not that there's isn't things in this list that people already don't know about when it comes to PC gaming. But I thought this list from Business Insider was interesting enough to make a video about, and it's called the 12 Reasons Why Gaming on a PC is Better Than Game Consoles. And there's some stuff I agree with them on, and there's other stuff I disagree with them on. So this is not going to be a PC gaming ass-kissing video or a PC elitist video. I kind of want to give my middle-of-the-road approach where I could look unbiased at the different platforms and say, okay, I think console gaming is better for this generally, or no, they're right, PC gaming is better when it comes to this. So sit back, grab a beer or a coffee, because this is going to be a long video because I have quite a bit to say about their 12 reasons as to why PC gaming is superior to consoles. So enjoy. Also, a quick side note, a link to the Business Insider article will be below in the description if you want to go check it out. So reason number one that Tech Insider has is you can play games with better graphics than consoles if you have a powerful gaming PC, and this is what they had to say about it. This is one of the main arguments in favor of PC gaming, as the hardware inside a gaming PC can far outperform the parts in a console like the Xbox One or PlayStation 4. As a result, games on PC can play with graphics settings set to higher levels, as well as play at higher, smoother frame rates than that on console. With that said, gaming PCs that outperform consoles can come at a high price. This is where I start to, disagree with them a little bit. A great gaming PC for 1080p resolution screens, the same resolution that the PlayStation 4, original Xbox One, and Xbox One S, can cost anywhere north of $500. That's not true completely, depending on if you're willing to get used parts. Compared to the $250 price tag of those aforementioned consoles, a gaming PC suddenly doesn't seem so tempting. But again, better graphics and smoother gameplay are available if you're willing to pay, and at the same time, you save money in the long run when you play on PC, as you'll see next, and we'll talk about that, of course, as well. Okay, so this point that Tech Insider makes, there's some things that they're right about and some things they're wrong about. Yes, in general, games on PC, I would say 95, if not more percent of the time, have better visuals. You can max out the settings and the game will run and look better and run smoother, I should say, than it does on consoles. But even though this issue has gotten significantly better, it does happen from time to time still, even to this day, where the PC will receive a crappier port than the consoles do. Batman Arkham Knight comes to mind. Still to this day, the PC version of Batman Arkham Knight runs far crappier than it does on consoles. So as much as most of the time you will get a better visual experience and you will get better frame rates, Destiny 2 comes to mind, that's coming to PC, that's going to have an unlocked frame rate, whereas at least on the PS4 and PS4 Pro, Destiny 2 is going to run at 30 frames per second, so right there, in and of itself, you're going to get a better experience with Destiny 2 on PC. There are still crappy ports that come to PC. It is far less often now, but it does still happen, so it's something to keep in mind. Now, the point that Tech Insider brought up, that a gaming PC that would have similar performance to an Xbox One, a base Xbox One, and a base PS4 would cost around $500, if not more. That's not generally, I should say, not true. Now, with all the cryptocurrency mining crap right now, the graphics card prices are insane, but that's not normal. That's the prices being inflated. But I've proven before, and you could even do it with new parts too. You could get the hyper-threaded Pentium processor, the G40 560, for $79.99 US. That's nothing. I mean, granted, it's a dual-core processor. I'm not entirely thrilled with going with dual-core, but at least it's hyper-threaded. And you could generally get a mid-range graphics card for $100 and something, and if you're really, really frugal and really careful, you could get new parts and put a PC together for all around $400-ish, if not a little less. Yes, it's not $250 or $299 like the consoles, the base consoles cost, but it's not that much more money, and you could do a lot more with a PC. And if you're willing to get used parts, like I prove with my video, I'll have a link in the description. I'll probably have a card in the video. If you're willing to get used parts like I did, I got an old Sandy Bridge Core i5 quad-core Dell. I put a GTX 1060 in there, a 6 gigabyte GTX 1060, and that machine was gaming at 4K natively at like medium to ultra settings. Again, I have a video, I'll have a link below, and I'll have a card in the video, and that computer costs about $499 US. That's the same as the upcoming Xbox One X. Granted, again, it's used parts. I got an old Office Dell and Frankensteined it and made it into a gaming PC, but it was still a really capable system. It's still running to this day. It runs fine, and you could do a lot with that because it's a computer. It's also a content creation device, not just a content consumption device like a gaming console would be. So you got to keep that in mind. So you're getting a lot more features with a PC. I mean, you may spend a little bit more, but you'll get to do a lot more with it. So yeah, I'm not saying that they're entirely wrong. It would be a hell of a challenge to build a gaming PC for the same price as the Xbox One S or the base PlayStation 4 when they have sales on them. But you could get really damn close and get a very capable 1080p gaming rig if you really look around, take your time. Even with new parts, it is possible, but especially with used parts, man, it would be insanely easy to build a really damn good gaming rig for almost the same cost, maybe a little bit more than a base Xbox One S or a PlayStation 4 Slim. It's not completely impossible. Okay, so technically they're right. It would be a few bucks more, but not that much though. Not that much, so just keep that in mind. Now, the second point that Tech Insider brings up that makes PC gaming superior to consoles is the Steam game platform. I'll include all of digital distribution, but they just say the Steam game platform. This is what they had to say about it. Steam is a platform where, among other things, you can browse, buy, and launch your games, and it's better than the stores on Xbox One and PlayStation. For one, game sales are superior on Steam. During a sale, you can get older games for a significant discount compared to console stores. For example, I bought GTA 5 for $30 during a sale compared to the $60 it cost from the Xbox store. Microsoft and Sony have made great strides with sales and discounts, but the deals will rarely be as good as you'd find them on Steam. Now, generally, I agree with Tech Insider on this one. I think Steam is great. It has many flaws. I have pointed out the flaws before, but it's nice that when a new game comes out, as much as on consoles, I love to get the physical copies when I can. It's nice when a new game comes out to just buy it on Steam and then it downloads to your computer and you could just play it right away. It's convenient and it's just a really, really, really awesome service. It has flaws, like I said, but it's an awesome service. There is a catch, though, to digital distribution on PC, and it's not Steam in and of itself. The problem is that every developer and their mother wants to get in on the digital distribution pie. They want to create their own service for their games, and it becomes just a big mess. For example, Ubisoft has Uplay. So when you want to buy an Ubisoft game, you have to download and install Uplay. Even if you buy it on Steam, they have their games on Steam, but then you have to download Uplay on top of Steam to play Ubisoft games. Then on top of it, EA has their own service that's called Origin. So when you want to buy an EA game, you got to download Origin. And now Techland, the guys behind Dying Light, are starting their own digital distribution service. So I'm sure Techland games in the future are going to be exclusive to their new service called Gemly. So there you're going to have 4. If you want to purchase games by the companies I just mentioned, you're going to have Steam, Origin, Uplay, and Gemly, and it starts to get messy. You have different passwords, you have all this different software. I hate the interface of Uplay, so that's the thing that kind of sucks. Whereas on consoles, you only have one digital distribution service. It's either Xbox Live or PSN or the store that's on the Switch. It's not like all of those different companies can have their own digital distribution service on PSN or Xbox Live or Nintendo's online store. They have to go through each of those console services. So in a way, it's nice on consoles because everything is consolidated and you don't have to worry about 30 different logins and 30 different passwords. That's a plus to downloading and purchasing games on consoles. Now, Tech Insider is right about Steam sales. They're awesome. I love their winter sales and their summer sales. Personally, to me, they aren't as good as they used to be. Maybe because I buy too many games brand new. That might be the actual reason why. But they're still awesome, though. They also have midweek madness on Steam and weekend sales. And I even pick up things then. They have, sales on games that are fairly significant on AAA titles. So you could pick up a bunch of software and build a library of games on PC really quick for not that much money, and that Tech Insider is dead on about. Buying games on PC is very, very affordable. The third point that Tech Insider brings up is this, and it's a very good one. This one, I'm totally on board with them. You don't have to pay to play multiplayer games on PC, and you save money in the long run. To play multiplayer games on console, you have to sign up for the paid Xbox Live and PlayStation Network services, depending on which console you own. PC gamers don't need to pay to play games online. For a year of service, an Xbox Live Gold or PlayStation Plus membership costs $60. That may seem like a trivial annual expense, but it builds up over the years. After paying $60 for 5 years or membership to either service, you would have to pay $300. That's money you could spend on a PC graphics card upgrade. This is one of the points that Tech Insider brought up that I'm 100% on board with them. I am totally against even Nintendo. They only charge $20 a year, but even Nintendo, I have no idea how Sony, Microsoft, and now Nintendo get away with making people pay to play online when honestly on PC, not only is it free, when you buy games on Steam or Origin, it's free to play online, it's superior. I've had better experiences playing games on my PC where I'm not paying a yearly or monthly fee, depending on how you pay, than I do on the consoles where you're spending $60 a year. I already pay my cable bill. Why am I paying Sony, Microsoft, and now Nintendo for like this gate so I could just play games with my friends online? To me, it's absolutely ridiculous. I already pay my cable bill. Why on top of it am I paying Sony or Microsoft just to play games on their consoles? I bought the game, I bought the system. There should be no need for me to pay $60 a year to play online multiplayer. And the point they make about the money being trivial but it adds up over the years is true. Yeah, 5 years of paying for PSN or Xbox Live adds up to $300. And around that time, say you built a PC, 4 or 5 years down the road, you're going to want to upgrade the graphics card. And if you're just gaming, that's really all you need to upgrade, and not paying that yearly fee will be money you could put towards that graphics card upgrade. So they're 100% right, and I hope in the future people will catch on to this, and Xbox Live or paying for Xbox Live, PSN, and even Nintendo's new service, hopefully that all becomes obsolete and they stop making you do it. I doubt it because it makes them a ton of money, but one could dream. And before I see this comment in the comments section, a free game every month does not justify paying for the service. There's a lot of times I don't care about the games they give away. Now, this fourth point they bring up is, and I'll explain after I read it to you. There are more games for PC than there are for game consoles, which is technically true, but let me read to you and then I'll explain. Consoles have their share of exclusive games that'll never make their way to PC, like the PS4 exclusive Horizon Zero Dawn. But when it comes to sheer number of games, nothing beats PC. PC is also where you'll first find certain games before they make their way to consoles, like the hugely popular PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, which is coming out later this year for consoles. Meanwhile, PC gamers have had access to the early access version of the game for months, since early 2017. And lest we not forget that Minecraft was on PC before it came to consoles too. Yippee! Then there are games that you'll never find on consoles like DayZ, Eve, World of Warcraft, and League of Legends. Okay, the article, yes, they are spitting truth right there. There are games, especially MMOs, that are only going to be on PC. So yes, there are games on PC that are exclusive. But there are many people like me, I'm a perfect example of this, and I'm sure I'm going to be called a fraghead because of it, that don't care about games like that. I am not going to play World of Warcraft or League of Legends, so that's not a selling point to me. So this point that's being made, I mean, granted, you could say all the points that are being made are opinions and are subjective, but it's totally subjective, because if someone doesn't care about that genre of games, if you don't care about MMOs and things like that, you're not going to care about those games on PC. So pretty much you're going to be getting the same multiplats that you're going to get on consoles. So to many people, including me, games like World of Warcraft and DayZ and League of Legends is not going to entice them to go out and buy or build a PC. Just stating facts. Point number 5 that Tech Insider brings up is you could download mods for games, which can add fun new content or better graphics. This is what they had to say. Some tech-savvy gamers out there create mods or modifications to PC games that give them enhanced graphics or added content. For example, one game that gets a lot of attention from modders is GTA 5. Some mods make the game look even better than it does normally, and other mods add weapons, like the humorous exploding Galaxy Note 7 mod, where you can use a Galaxy Note 7 as dynamite. Yeah, mods are a pretty big deal on PC, I agree with Tech Insider. I'm not a huge modder, but I have used them for games like Skyrim and for GTA 5, and if you get the right mods and you know what you're doing, you could make games on PC look photorealistic. Granted, you have to have a PC powerful enough to take advantage of some of these mods, but if you do, man, can you make games look pretty. You could do things that you cannot do on consoles. And think about it, there are times that these mods for PC games become so successful that they become standalone games. Perfect example is Counter-Strike. It actually was a mod for Half-Life, and look how huge Counter-Strike Go is to this day. So yes, mods are a huge benefit to being a PC gamer, without a doubt. Now, reason number 6 that Tech Insider brings up that makes PC gaming superior to consoles, and this one I pretty much agree with too, you have the freedom to choose how you play on PC, and this is what they had to say about that. I personally prefer to play most games with a keyboard and mouse, especially for first-person shooters like Battlefield 1. I find that keyboards and mice offer more control and accuracy than a console controller, whereas joysticks on a controller make aiming feel sluggish and inaccurate. It's something that game developers on console compensate with a feature called assisted aiming, which lightly locks your aim to an enemy when you're aiming in their general direction. The good news for PC gamers is that they can choose to play with a controller too. As a side note to reinforce my position on keyboards and mice, some console gamers who played Destiny 2 demo game on PC found they preferred the game while using a keyboard and mouse, which I could believe that. Now, I know that there's adapters that you could buy for the Xbox One and PS4 so you can hook up a mouse and keyboard and play games using a mouse and keyboard, and I know that Microsoft is actually going to have native mouse and keyboard support for the Xbox One eventually, but with PC, anything you really want to play with, you can. You want to use a PS4 controller? You can use a PS4 controller. You want to use an Xbox One controller? You can. You want to use a mouse and keyboard? You can. You want to use an Atari 2600 joystick? I don't really know why you'd want to. Maybe for a couple retro games? Go have at it. I'm sure there's a way that you can do it. And there's always software that lets you use whatever gamepad or whatever mouse and keyboard you want to use with any game on PC. It's very flexible. It's very easy to do. So, hey, you can have at it. See, I actually choose to play most of my games with an Xbox One gamepad. I know that's sacrilegious to a lot of PC gamers, but that's my choice. That's the one thing that's nice about PC, is you could play any way you want to. It's very flexible. You're not in the walled garden of consoles where you have to play the way they want you to. You could play the way you want to, and that's a big deal. Point number 7 they give, you have the choice to play games on feature-packed monitors or your TV, and this is what they had to say about it. Console games games are designed to work on TVs, and you could use a monitor too. However, some special gaming monitors have features that you wouldn't find on a TV, and consoles won't make full use of them. For example, console games won't fill up a 21:9 ultra-wide screen. Ultra-wide monitors give me a wider field of view than a TV's traditional 16:9 aspect ratio, which gives me better peripheral vision and lets me spot enemies that I normally wouldn't see with a regular monitor. Yes, you could say I have an unfair advantage over those who have regular 16:9 monitors. I would agree with you do have an unfair advantage, but continuing. Games also look gorgeous and more immersive on an ultra-wide monitor, and I can't wait to try Samsung's absurd yet tempting super ultra-wide 32:9 monitor. Yeah, I have no interest in ultra-wide monitors, at least right now. Maybe I might change in the future, so I definitely don't really care about 32:9. Dear God. Anyway, other monitors offer high refresh rates. This I like 144 Hz or even 240 Hz, which plays games up to 144 or 240 frames per second for incredibly smooth gameplay. Console games, on the other hand, are usually capped at about 60 frames per second. That's fine for most gamers, but some gamers are sticklers for high frame rates. And there are some monitors that come with Tobii's eye tracking technology, which changes your field of view in a game by tracking where your eyes are looking, which I really don't care about that, but that's besides the point. Now, personally, I don't care about the ultra-wide monitors, but one thing I do care about is the high refresh rate monitors. I have an Acer G-Sync monitor that goes up to 144 Hz, and man, is it butter smooth. Not only when playing games, when you're in a desktop environment, it's still at 144 Hz, the refresh rate, and the mouse pointer just moves smoother. I know it sounds dumb, but when you start using it, it just feels so much better. And in games, not only do games look smooth when they're running at 144 frames per second, they just feel and perform better. Your controls are more responsive. I use a gamepad, and the gamepad inputs feel like they're registering quicker. It's just a better experience playing at a better frame rate. And this is a guy that way back in the day, that I didn't care if games were running over 30 frames per second. I was fine with 30 frames per second, but once you try higher frame rates and refresh rates, you can't go back, man. I'm telling you. Now, I've tried and seen a few ultra-wide monitors that are 21:9, and they're okay. It's kind of a weird experience. I think partially I'm biased too, because I need my monitors in 16:9 because I record gameplay. Yes, I know that you can play games in 16:9 on ultra-wide monitors. You would just have black bars on the side of the game. But like I said, on top of that too, I've tried them and I'm kind of lukewarm on them. Who knows? In the future, a couple years from now, I'll swear by ultra-wide monitors and I'll be trying to convince you guys to buy them. But that to me isn't a big deal. And this point that the article is trying to make about being able to use ultra-wide monitors and high refresh rates may not be a big deal to you. I'm perfectly fine personally with 60 FPS. I'm glad I have a monitor that can handle refresh rates higher than just 60 Hz, and it looks great. But if I was stuck at only 60 FPS for games, I would be okay with that. So for some of you seeing this who may just own consoles, this may not be a selling point to you, and I can understand that as well. So long as you get 60 FPS in games where it counts, like Call of Duty, like you're seeing right here, for example, then, it's not a big deal to you, and I can totally relate. Now, this point they give, this is point number 8, is really dumb. First off, if you notice the controller the guy is using in the picture, it's an NVIDIA Shield controller, and he's playing Half-Life 2. So he's playing the Shield TV version of Half-Life 2, but I digress. But anyway, this is so obvious this was just filler for this article, but you're not hogging the TV if you live with someone else. Let's see what they had to say. This is a big one in my household. Before I built my gaming PC, I constantly had to plan around regular TV watching sessions with my fiance just to play games. That would be fine if I liked everything that was playing on TV, but I don't. I can relate to that, but your excuse for this 8th point is terrible. With my gaming PC, I can escape the shows I dislike and play my games without having to schedule around TV time. Okay, you do realize with a console that you could still escape your fiance's terrible TV shows, right? It's not the 1950s. There's not only one TV in the entire house. It's not like, gather around, kids, it's time for the Dick Van Dyke Show. It's 2017. You could just buy another TV fairly cheap. I mean, come on, during Black Friday, sometimes they have 32-inch TVs for $70 and put it in another room and game on your console in that room. You don't need a TV to do that. Oh, wow, this was so terrible. And on top of that, if you really want to stretch things and say, I don't have another TV, if you have a computer monitor, 99% of modern computer monitors have HDMI inputs. So you could just plug your console into a computer monitor in another room. And even if you use the excuse that your computer monitor, which some do, only has a display port, it's like a $15, $20 cable on Amazon that you could get a HDMI to DisplayPort cable and still use that monitor to plug your console into. So this makes no sense. You're making it like the only way you could play games in the house if your fiance is watching TV is if you have a computer in another room. You could have a console in another room and a TV or monitor in another room and hook up your console to it. This made absolutely no sense. This was a terrible point to prove that PC gaming is superior to consoles. Like, seriously? And point number 9 that Tech Insider gives is building your own PC is fun and satisfying. Anyway, when you build your own PC, you could pick and choose exactly what parts you want, like a case, motherboard, graphics card, processor, RAM, and storage. Just make sure the parts are compatible with each other. Now, yes, it is satisfying to build your own PC, but it also could be stressful too. I think anyone who has built a PC before can agree there is nothing more stressful than after you put all the parts together and you double checked all the connections and made sure everything was hunky-dory, and then you hit that power button and you wait for the computer to post. And what is seconds sometimes can feel like an eternity, because you know if the computer doesn't post, there could be an issue that could take you hours to try to resolve, if not longer. And if there is an issue with your PC, there could be so many variables as to what is going on. So trying to diagnose a PC sometimes can be a real big pain in the ass. Now, is PC building a challenge? Yes and no. It's not hard to put a PC together. What makes it challenging is that you have to be very meticulous and you have to be careful, because the one thing you overlook could kill your whole build. Say you're screwing down something on the motherboard and the screwdriver accidentally slips out of your hand and kills some of the traces on the motherboard. Well, rest in peace to your motherboard. Hopefully the company you bought it from will take it back. And honestly, the biggest killer of PCs when you build them is you not being careful. You got to make sure you're wearing an anti-static wrist strap. Static electricity could kill a computer easily. And you just have to make sure you dot your I's and cross your T's when you build a PC. Make sure all the connections are properly put together. Make sure your RAM modules are firmly in place, so on and so forth. The name of the game is you just have to go back and check every single one of your steps when you build a PC. There is very little room for error. But yes, it is very satisfying when you build a PC and you press that power button and it posts and everything goes well. It's a very fun and satisfying experience, especially when it's a kick-ass rig too. It's like, damn, I did this, it works, and now I have this awesome computer to use. Now we're on to reason number 10 that Tech Insider gives that PC gaming is superior to consoles, and that is you can decorate it to make it truly yours. That is, you can decorate your PC to make it truly yours. And yay, this is something I don't really care about, but I'll talk about it though. Now the picture you're seeing is the writer of this article for Tech Insider. His name is Antonio Villas-Boas, and this is his PC. As you see, he got lights in there, he has light up RAM sticks, and he actually has a water cooler for the graphics card, so Antonio is into overclocking. And this is what he has to say about decorating your PC. It's remarkably easy to build your own PC, and you could add PC bling. Yeah, he really said bling, like lights and fans with built-in lighting to give your PC a personalized look that no console can match. Now, first and foremost, I have to address the most important thing about what Antonio said. 1996 called Antonio. They want the word bling back. Did you really use bling in your article in 2017, dude? I know it's not a big deal. I was just, that made me cringe a little bit. But anyway, all right. So personally, I don't care about lighting. I don't care about all the super duper custom stuff, because I just want the computer to work. I want it to perform well. Yes, I am concerned about cable management, and I have gotten better at cable management. But beyond that, the lighting and all the super custom stuff that you could do to a PC, like the LED piping that some people do, it's just not my thing. I don't care about it. I'd rather have a professional looking PC than something that, you know, could light up a whole room when you turn your lights off when you're gaming at night. But there are people on YouTube, man, who take customizing computers super seriously. There's major YouTubers, you know, I'm talking big time YouTubers that when they build a PC, that's their main focus. They'll spend more time on LED piping and custom lights and custom loops and all that than they will on actually putting the PC together. But that is kind of the nice thing about PC gaming, is that you choose what's important to you. Is the performance your main thing and you don't care about customizing like me? Then have at it. If you care about customizing and want your PC to be as unique as a fingerprint, you could do that too. Again, I could care less about the lighting, but there's many people that is very important to, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's what's nice about PC gaming. Everyone's computer can be very unique. Now, point number 11 that Antonio brings up is that you can go all out with custom water cooling. This was his custom water loop. He no longer has it, but there is benefits besides it looking cool to go with water cooling. This is what he had to say about his custom loop. I once took up a fully custom water cooling project for my PC. It was great as it kept the hot parts of my PC cool, which let them perform at their maximum power over longer periods of time. But I personally didn't have time to maintain it. And that's my thing too. I wouldn't have the time to maintain a custom water loop. That's why I went with a pre-built closed loop cooler. NZXT makes them, EVGA makes them, Corsair makes them. And if you're looking to overclock your processor, it's something that's pretty much necessary. I mean, you can overclock with air coolers, but you'll definitely get better results with a closed loop cooler or a custom water loop. A perfect example of a closed loop cooler really letting you overclock a processor. Now, I will let you know this up front. I am an overclocking novice. I am an overclocking noob, okay? And 3 years ago, or right when it came out, I got the Intel Core i7-5960X. It's an 8-core processor, and at the time it was insanely expensive. And I did want to try overclocking because its stock clock is 3 gigahertz. I wanted something faster. So I got a Corsair water loop cooler. It's closed loop, it's pre-built. You just have to mount it like a regular heatsink. Then you have to actually mount the radiator to where fans would go on your case. And boom, you're good to go. You're off to the races. You now have a closed loop cooler on your processor. I watched a couple videos on overclocking from Linus Tech Tips.
Art.
And it was that simple, man. I went from a 3 gigahertz stock clock on my 5960X to a super stable, AIDA64 tested stable, running it for 48 hours stable, 4.4 gigahertz on my 5960X. And I know people that got even higher than that too. I'm sure if I had more than zero experience with overclocking, I could have gotten it a few hundred megahertz faster, but I was very happy with a 1.4 gigahertz overclock with my first time trying to overclock, or actually no, that's a lie. My second time, I tried to overclock my 1045T AMD processor back in the day, and that was a big failure. Yeah. But the reason why I was able to get that overclock was due to the Corsair closed loop cooler that I had on that 5960X Intel i7 processor. And that's my point. Closed loop water coolers, they're easy to install. They're just as easy to install as a regular heatsink, and you'll be able to get a ton of more performance out of your processor. If I can overclock a processor, I guarantee you that you can. And last but not least, the 12th point that Tech Insider makes is that you can upgrade your PC and you can't upgrade a console. I don't entirely agree with how they word this, but I'll discuss that with you in a minute. This is what this last 12th point from Tech Insider has to say. You can upgrade your PC parts to keep up with new games, while console parts become obsolete very quickly. Your very own gaming PC may be beautiful, but the true beauty of a gaming PC is its upgradability. Whether you built your own or you bought a pre-built computer from an electronics store, you could switch out the parts with fresh new ones when they start to show their age. Each and every part inside a PC can be removed or swapped out pretty easily. It's a bit like advanced Legos. Meanwhile, parts inside game consoles largely remain unchanged over the course of their existence. With that said, Sony has come out with the PlayStation 4 Pro that can play games in the coveted 4K resolution, which is kind of like upgrading the parts in a PC. Microsoft also has the 4K capable Xbox One X on the way too. Okay, I get what Antonio is trying to say there about consoles becoming obsolete quick, but at the same time, it's 100% wrong, because it doesn't matter that the parts inside of a console are outdated, as so long as it's the company's newest piece of hardware. Like, okay, the PlayStation 4 this fall is going to be 4 years old, and yeah, okay, the parts inside of the base PlayStation 4, hell, even the PS4 Pro are outdated, but that doesn't matter because it's Sony's main system right now. So developers are going to build their games from the ground up to run on the PS4 and PS4 Pro. Same with the Xbox One and Xbox One S. So it doesn't matter with consoles. It's not like you need to like go inside there and put a new graphics card for the next AAA game that's coming out for the Xbox One S to run. It just, developers make sure it works for both the Xbox One S, the Xbox One X, PS4, and PS4 Pro. So that statement just was kind of misleading that Antonio from Tech Insider made. But Antonio is very right about one thing in that 12th point that he made. Being able to upgrade your PC is the beauty of it. And the thing that I want to put out there that I'm very tired of hearing is that no, for people who are unfamiliar with PC gaming, you do not need to upgrade your PC every year. If you're an idiot like me, you do it anyway because I'm an enthusiast and I enjoy wasting money. But I know people who still have Sandy Bridge Core i5 and Core i7 processors who just upgraded their GPUs, their graphics cards, and their systems are still killing games, getting great frame rates to this day. So that's another point about PC gaming that wasn't made actually in this Tech Insider article, is that it is more affordable than people think. Okay, it's tough to get a PC for the same price new with new parts as a console. It's tough to hit that $250 price point. But if you spend extra money and don't try to be as cheap as possible with your gaming rig and you save your money and you invest in it, there's no reason why your gaming rig can't last you and handle games for like 4 or 5 years. There really isn't. I'm even talking the same graphics processor too, the same graphics card. I mean, there's people that still have GTX 780 series graphics cards from Nvidia that are still running games at 1080p at like high settings, no problem. So that whole myth that you have to constantly upgrade your hardware is ridiculous, and it's 100% not true when it comes to PC gaming. But beyond that, let me discuss the last point that Antonio made in this article, is that it's very easy to upgrade PCs, and it is. That's the nice thing about getting a gaming PC. You want to upgrade the processor, so long as the processor you want to upgrade it to fits in the same socket on your motherboard, you could just pop the more powerful processor in there. So say you have a Sandy Bridge i5, you want to upgrade to a Sandy Bridge i7, you can, and it's pretty easy to do. Same with graphics cards. That's the nice thing. You can have an older computer, and a lot of times it'll still run games no problem if you have a newer graphics card. So if you want to upgrade your graphics card from that 780 to 1070, all you have to do is upgrade the graphics card in most cases, and you'll get a lot better performance out of your games, and all the other hardware will stay the same. That is the beauty of PC gaming, and it's very, very simple to upgrade PC components. So I'll end the video by saying this. Did I upload this topic to try to sell you on PC gaming? No, because I know I won't. I mean, there's a couple people who come to me from time to time and say, hey, Rich, because of your videos, I want to try out PC gaming. But I know the general lot are going to be like, look, Rich, there's nothing you could say to me. I prefer consoles, and that's fine. So that wasn't my goal with this. I just thought that this Business Insider / Tech Insider article was very interesting. They made a lot of good points, but they made some silly ones as well, and I wanted to discuss it. It's that simple. I hope you had fun. I had a lot of fun making it. This video took me all damn day to make, so I hope you guys appreciate it, and I will see you tomorrow with some more uploads. Have a good one.